The apartment is nothing special. One bedroom, third floor, parking on the street. You fill out the application at the leasing office counter. The woman behind the desk is friendly. She asks where you're from. She laughs at something you say. Then she runs your application. The screen loads, and you watch her face change. Not dramatically, just a small shift around the eyes. The warmth leaves like someone turned a dial. She says, "We'll be in touch." They are not in touch. The application fee was $45. The decision took 90 seconds. You never see the number that made it. But the number saw you. Somewhere in that screen, 3 digits told her who you are. 480. Nobody taught you this number existed until it started closing doors. This is how the world treats you at every credit score. Tier 1. 480. The world in cash. At 480, you don't have bad credit. You have a warning label. The apartment says no. The next one says no. The third one says yes with a double security deposit. First month, last month, and a deposit the size of both. You need $3,600 in cash to rent a $900 apartment. The people with money get to keep it. The people without it pay it all up front. You apply for a credit card. Denied. You apply for the card designed for people who get denied. Denied. The letter says insufficient credit history, which means the system can't punish you without data, so it punishes you for the silence instead. Your phone company wants a deposit. The electric company wants a deposit. Everyone wants insurance against you, and the premium is your grocery money. A job application asks permission to check your credit. A job. You are being financially screened to earn the money they're worried you don't have. You don't know it yet, but the most expensive thing you own is a number you've never seen. The rule at 480, you don't pay more because you're risky. You're risky because nobody ever taught you the rules. Tier 2, 550. The predator zone. Something strange happens at 550. The world stops saying no. It starts saying yes. And the yes is worse. A credit card arrives. Approved. $300 limit, $95 annual fee, 29.99% interest. They approved you because you are exactly what they're looking for. Someone who will carry a balance. Someone who will pay the minimum forever. Someone who will make a $300 limit generate $200 a year. The car lot on the boulevard approves everyone. The sign says it. Everyone approved. The 2014 sedan costs $11,000 there. It costs $6,500 everywhere else. The payment is $380 a month for 4 years. You do the math in the parking lot. You put the pen down. You walk. There's a guy at your job named Marcus. Same shift, same pay. Marcus financed a living room set at a rent-to-own place. $2,100 for a couch that costs $800 at the warehouse store. Marcus says credit is fake anyway. Marcus says the whole thing is a scam, so why play? Marcus is half right. The system is rigged. But there's a difference between a rigged game and a game with rules nobody showed you. Marcus quit reading the rules. You start. You get a secured card. $200 of your own money as the deposit. You buy gas with it once a month. You pay it off in full. It feels like nothing. $12 of gas, paid twice. Nobody would call this a strategy. You don't know it yet, but you just started the only clock that matters. The rule at 550, when the world finally says yes, check the price of the yes. Tier 3, 620. The threshold. 18 months of $12 gas payments, 18 months of nothing happening. Then the number crosses 620 and the world quietly rearranges itself. 620 is not a good score. Nobody brags about 620. But 620 is the number where the machine reclassifies you from no to maybe. And maybe changes everything. The apartment application comes back approved. No cosigner, no double deposit.
You sign a lease with just your own name on it, and your hand pauses over the signature line because you're waiting for the catch. There is no catch. There is just the number, 50 points heavier than it used to be. You mention it at work, carefully, to the older woman who runs accounts payable. Diane, 26 years at the company, drives a paid-off hatchback.
Diane sets down her coffee. She says, "You know what that number actually is?" You say, "Credit score." She shakes her head. She says, "It's a memory. That's all it is. It doesn't know your salary. It doesn't know your savings. It doesn't care if you're rich. It only remembers whether you kept your word to it." She picks her coffee back up. She says, "Most people think it measures money. It measures memory. And memory can be rebuilt." She goes back to her spreadsheet. You stand there longer than you should. You don't know it yet, but you'll hear that sentence again in 9 years, coming out of your own mouth. The rule at 620. The score doesn't remember what you have. It remembers what you did. Tier 4, 680. Average. An average is expensive. At 680, you are approved for almost everything. That's the trap. Approved is not the same as approved well. You buy a car, a real one this time, from a real dealership. The finance manager runs your number and nods. Approved at 9.4%. The man in the office before you, same car, same price, got 5.9. You will never meet him. You will pay $4,100 more than him over 5 years for the same steel, the same seats, the same road. There's no ceremony to it. No one calls you a name. The surcharge is silent. It's built into the payment. Invisible, polite. This is what 680 is. The world doesn't reject you. It just quietly charges you extra for its remaining doubt. Your insurance is higher. You didn't know credit touched insurance. It does. Your deposit on the new phone plan is gone. But the premium card, the one with the lounge access and the real rewards, sends you a letter that says, "Not at this time." You are fine. Everything about your life is fine. And fine has a markup. Mark has got a new truck, 11%. He says it's just what interest costs. He doesn't know the man before him paid 6. You don't know it yet, but the gap between fine and prime is the most expensive 50 points on the entire scale. The rule at 680? Average doesn't get punished. It gets billed. Tier 5, 740. The line. Every system has a line where the suspicion runs out. For credit, the line is 740. You cross it the way you crossed everything else. Slowly, invisibly, on a Tuesday. Nothing announces it. But the next time you apply for something, the texture is different. The apartment application comes back in 50 minutes. Approved. Deposit waived. The credit card that rejected you at 680 mails you an offer with your name in the envelope window. The refinance on the car comes back at 5.7. And the loan officer talks to you differently. Not warmer, faster. Like the conversation is already over and you both know it. That's the thing nobody tells you about 740. It doesn't feel like winning. It feels like friction disappearing. Forms get shorter. Waits get shorter. The pause before yes gets shorter. You open the drawer in your desk, the one with the folded apartment application from years ago. Denial reason, credit history. $45 fee, non-refundable. You never threw it away. You look at it for a while. You put it back. The rule at 740, the world doesn't reward you at this line. It just stops charging you for its suspicion. Tier 6, 800, the vault. At 800, the strangest thing happens. The system flips. Lenders start applying to you. The mailbox fills with offers written by people competing for your signature.
0% for 18 months. 2% cash back, no fee, pre-approved. The billboard rate? The one in giant numbers on the highway? The rate that was never real for anyone you know? That rate is suddenly yours. You buy a car, and the finance manager runs the number. And you watch a face change again. The same shift you saw at the leasing office all those years ago, around the eyes, but reversed.
The screen loads and something in him straightens. He slides the paper across, and the number on it is the lowest one they have. There's no negotiation. You're the customer the rates were invented for. That week, Marcus calls. The truck got repossessed on a Thursday. They came while he was at work. He's asking around about a ride, and then, quieter, he asks how your stuff is going. And you can hear what the question actually is. You tell him about the secured card, the $200, the $12 of gas. He's silent. And then he says, "That's it?" You say, "That's it. 11 years of that's it." He asks where to start. You tell him. He starts. You don't know it yet, but the score was never about the money you had. Marcus made the same money. The rule at 800. The score doesn't measure your wallet. It measures how long you've kept a promise.
Tier 7. 850. Perfect. Here's the secret about a perfect score. It buys nothing. The rates at 850 are the same as the rates at 800. The approvals are the same. The offers are the same. The last 50 points have no price tag, no unlock, no door. The system has no more tests for you, and no more prizes either. So why does anyone care? You find out at the closing table for your house. The lender pulls the report and says, says he's seen a handful of these in 20 years. It changes nothing about the loan. He shakes your hand anyway, differently than lenders used to. And you realize the numbers stopped being a key a long time ago. Somewhere past 800, it became something else. A record. A very long memory of a very boring promise, kept monthly for 17 years. $12 of gas at a time. You open the drawer at home. The folded application is still there. Denial reason? Credit history. You unfold it, and for the first time, it reads like a photograph of a stranger. The rule at 850. Past the last threshold, the score stops being a key. It becomes a mirror.
Somewhere right now, someone is standing at a leasing office counter, watching a friendly face change. The screen just loaded. The warmth just left. They're about to walk out with nothing but a receipt for $45, feeling like the number on that screen is a verdict about who they are. It isn't. It never was. The score doesn't know them. It doesn't know their salary, their savings, their kindness, their potential. It only knows what the system remembers. And here is the thing about memory. It can be rebuilt. $12 at a time. On a schedule. In silence. For as long as it takes. Nobody claps for the payment that posts on time. There's no notification for the 84th consecutive month of keeping a small promise. The system doesn't celebrate you. It just slowly, silently stops charging you for its doubt. The number was never measuring your worth. It was measuring your history with a machine nobody explained. Now, it's been explained. The only question left is what you do with the next $12.